So just got out of the Fantastic Four movie. This is gonna be a quick review. I'm probably gonna keep this the way it is, so hopefully everybody's okay with the lights. As long as you can hear me, I think that should work out fine. I'm gonna try not to do spoilers. But if I had to say straight out of the movie theater review for Fantastic Four First Steps, um, off rip, I am balancing it at a A versus a B, though I feel like the I could be leaning more into like the B route. I feel like there's more things in this that can lead it to an A. I really love the concept. I think the thing I'm fighting with is it's not a spoiler, but the beginning of the movie kind of catches you up, but doesn't kind of catch you up. But it does have like a slow build into everything that's going on, and I think that slow build kind of makes it an A, kind of not an A, but makes it a B, just because like you're waiting for things to kind of kick off, and though they are beginning and things are happening within the movie, I don't know. It's just like wow, I'm just like all right. There's a lot of disposition for a movie that's not trying to be an origin movie, but at the same time, you're giving me their origin. So but I don't know if that's worth it. I would say this. I would probably, I'm going to give it an A. I'm going to give it an A. Was it better than Superman? Since these are the two latest superhero movies, definitely better than Superman. I love a concept movie, especially a superhero movie, where the superheroes or the situation that they're in doesn't feel like it's an automatic win once they lock in. You know what I'm saying? And where in this movie they were locked in the whole entire time once the situation kicked off. There was never a moment, especially since we know what the future is going to lead into. There was never a moment where we were just like, oh snap, oh snap, oh snap. And you just felt that way throughout the whole entire movie, especially when things started kicking off. Um, for those who worried about if it's woke, it's not woke. A lot of stuff that's in there, uh, definitely felt it's weird. It felt like the comics, but it still fit into this Marvel universe where they take liberties with how they represent and show off the characters' powers. I will say, though the trailers don't show Reed Richards a lot using his ability, they use his ability a lot throughout the movie. I wish a little bit more like the first Fantastic Four movie, not the very first one, but the one with like Jessica Alba. If they use his abilities a little bit more similar to that, but I still feel like they did justice. I get where people are saying the thing is not really too much in, but I feel like he was in the movie a lot. Like he played a lot of pivotal roles. He didn't talk much, which I guess is what people are talking about. Like he's not really involved or he doesn't really get a lot of screen time, but I feel like he got adequate screen time. Though I will say this, for people who are questionable about Joseph Quinn playing Johnny Storm, I get it. Now, I was just like, nah, not. I'm more for the dude who played Red Ranger Jason in the up to date Power Rangers. I wanted him to be Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn did a great job. He balanced the humor, the ladies' man, and the heroics that makes Johnny Storm such a lovable character. This might be the best iteration of Sue Storm I've seen. Um, I felt like this Sue Storm was perfectly done. I loved how she delivered her dialogue in many scenes, and her abilities were showcased, I think, in a really great way. Um, do wish she was a little bit more invisible, but it didn't really call for it. I will say that it wasn't really called for. And though everybody keeps saying she has invisible powers, I understand she can bend light and use it to her will. I get it. But outside of that, this is probably the best iteration of Sue Storm. Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards does you warm up to it a lot as he continues to go on. I feel like the characteristics of Reed Richards he has down pat. Especially there's a scene in here where you can kind of see that point where if you're a comic fan of Reed Richards, his idea or thought process about a certain situation, you're like, that's definitely Reed. And he even gets called out about it. But I think everybody did a perfect job. I think Shalabah, the Silver Surfer in this, was done well. Um, I really loved how they did her character. I felt like if I know people are not used to the gender swap stuff and all this kind of thing. Literally, you don't even think about it throughout the movie. You literally walk away enjoying her iteration of the Silver Surfer and everything that was going on with it. Galactus was perfect. Galactus was absolutely done right. He wasn't a giant face cloud or whatever they've been doing in movies. He was literally like a giant space monster. I do wish he was a little bit bigger. That might be a spoiler, but I do wish he was a little bit bigger. But the trailers kind of hint, they kind of keep him at a certain size level. But how he devours the worlds works perfectly. I think they did it well. The cinematography, everything was done well on that. Galactus felt menacing. You felt the stakes, and I think that's probably the one thing I will say that I agree with when people say that Marvel is back on that sense. I felt like I was watching a Marvel movie where though you know the superhero's always going to win, some way, shape, or how superheroes are going to win. I literally felt in every instance when they had situations going on, I'm like, bro, how are they going to get out of this one? How are you going to do this one? And I haven't had a feeling like that where the stakes were so large and you just really didn't know what direction they were going to go with it since Infinity War, which is makes sense because a lot of people like Infinity War because of the unpredictability that came within that movie and that the superheroes lost. And though you don't need to make the superheroes lose to make it interesting or dynamic or special, you gotta make us feel like at any moment, like they're really pushed to their limits. They really are trying their hardest. And that it's just not some plot armor that's gonna keep them from, 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 from being defeated. Like their best might not be enough and they have to continue to push themselves to do better, to achieve that W. And I feel like they did that very well. They executed it well. Kevin Feige, you did a great job with this one. You can tell this was his passion project because he really put a lot into it. The animation, you kind of get used to it after a while. There is some things where you felt like there was a little bit of green screens and everything, but I mean, you get used to it. A lot of things that you'll probably hear that people have problems with. You'll automatically, after the first 5 to 10 minutes, you'll get used to it and you'll end up watching and loving the movie too. I can't really think of any flaws in this. Um, I can't even really talk about it too much because a lot of the details that make it great are spoilers. So I don't want to do that. I'll probably do a spoiler talk about it. But as of me getting out of the movie theater, the excitement, the feel, the build that I have from it, I honestly can tell you guys it is worth to watching in IMAX if you can. The first post credit scene, which is kind of like a mid credit scene, do stay for that. It links to something that we know that's already coming, so there's no surprise about that, but it's just a reward for watching such a good movie and then getting that little like trinket at the end. Like it works out well. I guess if I can't speak about it because the trailers do show it, Franklin Richards is in here. Um, can't really talk about him too much, but I can say how they utilize him. For comic fans who know him, you're going to appreciate the climb that they might be giving this character in the future. For those who are not familiar with him in the comic books, I will say this. A lot of what you got in this movie, especially to the details that are explained throughout the movie, and sometimes not even from the Fantastic Four, but from other characters in the movie. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. Hint at just how important Franklin Richards will be moving forward in the MCU. And that's all I'll say for there. I kind of got an idea where they're going to use him, especially, I can't talk about that, that's spoilers, but I can see where they're going with him and how he might be the key to how Secret Wars and everything goes down and how it works out. So I will say this. Is the movie enjoyable? Absolutely. Will you enjoy it? Absolutely. Um, is it worth the A plus? The more I think about it, I can't give it a B. It is definitely an A plus. I feel like watching it again. I do. Those Superman gave me more of a happy feel. Like I felt hopeful, and you don't really get that sense out of the movies. This one, I felt like, man, this was a full-fledged superhero movie that checks off a lot of boxes. I know a lot of people will probably give it a B rating, maybe even a C rating, but this one I think deserves the A. And I'll tell you this, Marvel hasn't gotten an A plus for me in a long time. So this is definitely worth the watch. Go check it out. Um, and I'll probably do a spoiler talk about it because there's a lot of stuff to discuss. But outside of that, man, great movie. Love my experience. Definitely will watch it again. Watch it in IMAX if you can. If you can't catch it in the movie theaters, please watch it at home. When it hits Disney Plus, but this is one that I can recommend. Marvel fans, watch this. This is a good movie and it needs our attention because moving forward, there's a lot of things that are going to be in play that we need to question and maybe even have answers for moving forward. So this has just been my movie review of the Fantastic Four First Steps. Leave a like, comment, and share down below. Tell me, do you agree with my ratings? Do you feel like it was an A plus? Do you think it was a 5 out of 5? Do you think it was lower? Do you think it was the B that I was struggling with? Do you think it was the C? Do you think it was lower? Did you like the movie? Did you hate the movie? And what are your predictions of where the MCU goes from here? I like to know, and maybe we'll discuss this. Maybe we'll do a live. But at this moment here, this is me. I am him. He is me. And thank you for watching. And look out for my shorts. I'll have a quick review of this up soon. Talk to you later.